Today's episode of KFC Radio is brought to you by Ted on Peacock. It's Ted, the TV series. It is the prequel to Ted 1 and Ted 2. This is a legit show. This is a very funny show. It's getting great reviews. It's Ted. It's everything you like about Ted in the TV form. It works.
And you all have Peacock now, so
the NFL already strong-armed you into it, so you might as well watch Ted. This is. I think this was a grand plan. Yeah. The NFL and Ted. I think they know that they had a hit with Ted, and they were like, let's drop it right when we have our playoff game so that everybody's going to watch football and Ted. It's no surprise. The results are in, and everybody's loving Ted. The people who watch Ted 1 and Ted 2, you already know what it is.
It's really good.
Very fun.
We were talking about how we did it before when it hadn't come out yet, and I think we both did, but I had definitely watched Ted recently. I was like, it's really
the concept
funny.
was always there, but I hadn't seen it
held
yet.
Up. It's like this is still really good.
Yeah,
and everyone loves Ted.
Yep,
because he's a very lovable teddy bear.
It's if you don't love Ted, you're the problem. It's really what it comes down to. So you can watch it on Peacock, stream it now, sign up. You can watch NFL games, any of the NBC stuff, and Ted, all available right now to binge. Let's get to KFC Radio. It's another edition of KFC Radio on the Barstool Sports Network. It's Clancy and Feitelberg, two veterans of the blog game, two veterans of Barstool. Two guys that I would say ordinarily, like, we've seen it all. Can't surprise us. But there's a storyline bubbling in the Barstool world that has just grabbed a hold of me, and I can't shake from it. And it's one that I'm, if it's what I believe it to be, I think is one of the craziest, wildest, didn't ever think something like this would happen storylines at Barstool. And I'm like, we should just like call him and get to the bottom of it, but I want to just almost ride this wave like a fan and ride this train off the tracks and see. I have never mentioned it. Hank and the crazy plane lady are like schmoopy on fucking the internet, man. Like, is Hank dating the crazy plane girl? Is Hank dating the viral plane girl? Is that his girlfriend? What is going on?
It would probably be, if it is true. And it is like, it's a very weird, it's like almost like I'm not talking to Hank.
Yes.
So I can talk into a microphone because like I don't know anything that like you don't know. All I know is what you've seen.
Same as the fan at home.
It feels like if you're away, sometimes like the relationships here get a little muddied or whatever, and people are aware of them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas like this is just from a fan perspective.
I've only seen videos and clips and stuff. Never even mentioned it.
It's a little more comfortable talking about it. It's probably the most amazing thing that's ever happened to Barstool.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's been so many times where I'm like, only Barstool. We get so lucky. We get the breaks, the timing, the whatever. You know, this person happened to be there when Dave was there, or Dave ran it. You know what? Like, amazing things have happened. We've tracked down Daniel Tosh style. We've kind of done like web redemption things where we've done content with people who've gone viral. Frank the Tank was a perfect. I mean, Frank came into our world. Like those things have happened. Nobody has ever gone on to have what appears to be a romantic relationship with someone who was like mega viral. That was like the biggest of the year.
Plane lady is
when you have a name
like she's like Charlie bit our finger of our generation.
Yeah, like because also it became conspiratorial where it was like every corner of the internet was like
that one was the weirdest conspiracy though, where people were like, she hasn't said anything. It's like, yeah, she's a regular person who went viral. She does not want to be a
and also people being like, what? Like, we need answers. Like, it was a fucking drunken high person who got scared on a plane. I don't know. This seems very go open and shut to me. But it reached every corner of the internet. When you get a name like Crazy Plane Lady, like she was referring to herself as Crazy Plane Lady, right? And yeah, she did go silent for a while. And then when she popped up, she was always deemed like hot. People were always like, oh, I would fuck Crazy Plane Lady. Yeah. And then when she popped up, like, you know, done up hair, makeup, all that shit, it was like, oh, yeah, this girl's a rocket. And then all of a sudden, Hennesy's just like popping up with her, right? Or she's popping up with him. And they were doing it in a way that I was like, oh, this is on purpose. Like, they may be hooking up or whatever, but they're also clearly trying to make it like, are we dating? Are we not dating?
Yeah.
Good. So I kept being like, oh, this is like a content thing. They're playing the game. You know, he gets ready for the Cowboys game, and then at the end, it's just like, boom, she's here. But I was like, oh, that's what you do when you're trying to make it be like, are we dating? Are we not dating? But then, like, the picture together at the game, but then her quote tweet saying psych. I'm like, what does this mean? What does it mean? Usually I'm like on the other side of the things, gossiping and putting out the gossip. So as much as I traffic in that, and I do that for 1 Minute Man and stuff, I usually don't get invested in it because I'm like doing it for work. This is the first time I'm like, what's going on? Well, are they dating? Are they not dating? What's happening? And it's someone I could just probably ask, but I don't think I want to. I'm like, first of all, I think it's weird to be like, yo, so are you dating that girl? And secondly, I wanna. This is what it's like for you guys all the time, like wondering about these people. I could give a shit about like an actor or a singer, but a blogger somehow finding his way romantically to a blog, to the bloggee, if you will. There's a blogger and the bloggee is.
It's almost like
it's a modern day romance.
Dave ending up amongst like the Patriots and stuff like that.
Right.
Like, how did this? We cover you. We don't hang out with you.
That's what I'm saying. Like there are examples of it that are probably a bigger scale, richer people, fancier. You know, Gaz. Did Gaz meet Rick Ross at some point? Yeah, like that kind of shit. You know, but I don't know if anybody ever fucked any of them.
And I don't know if Hank did. And I don't know if Hank did either.
I don't know. I mean, at this point, I hope something's going on, because otherwise, then you know what? It's weirder if they're not. You guys just hanging out like friends. You're just friends with the plane lady. At least bang her. What's going on here?
Dave was because Plane Girl went on PMT a couple months ago. Maybe started football season.
Yeah,
and then her and Hank went to, I don't know what teams, maybe at Northwestern. I think teams played at Wrigley or sold. And they went with that with PFT. And then I think Dave got like, what's going on here?
Didn't Dave, was he on BFFs? I feel like Dave at some point said something.
He talked to Hank on the Yak.
On the Yak, yeah. Okay.
And was like, and he's like, is this a bit? And I think Hank said, life's a bit. And,
right.
And
so
then,
that to me, but wait, what does that mean to you? What does that mean?
What does it mean? Leans
to
towards,
me, that's saying yes. Right. But to me, that's either leaning towards yes or a hard no. Like
he did it. He did it with a smirk.
Yeah, like I got it in. Yeah, okay. Life's a bit. That's a great phrase. Put that on a shirt, man. Life is at this point at Barstool. If you're hanging out with, sleeping with, or dating the crazy plane lady, life is a bit. Life has just become a bit. We're either in the simulation or we've broken the simulation. I don't know what's up and what's down at this point.
The video last night of him jumping in the pool, and then.
It's her mom's house.
Oh, is that what it is?
I
was thinking, damn, Tiffany's doing well.
I thought that too. You never know.
But also Texas, like
exactly. You never know.
But no matter what, it's a nice home.
But she posted, I believe I got this right. She posted a screenshot of a text with her mom, saying something like, let me find it. It was like, her mom was saying, she said, "Don't worry, he's all right," and she was like, "I don't care about him. What about my wall?" And
the mom said that.
Yes,
I see.
So I think that was more the vibe. I think, but so then I think that's the craziest of all. You're hanging out with the crazy plane lady at her mom's house. I can't remember where I saw that, but
the slipping and hitting the wall is straight out of a rom-com. Like, could not be more out of a rom-com. Now I'm picturing. I went to bed last night thinking of two things. One, Mike Tirico lives in Detroit. Two.
Just Mike Tirico, always full of surprises.
Like, why does he live in Detroit? Yeah. Why? And of Hank firing up a do-it-yourself YouTube, getting his old trusty butter knife, cut a hole in the drywall, and then fixing that. Just like set to some like poppy music, maybe them like putting a little plaster on each other's faces and just having a ball. Yes, and I was like, this is a romantic comedy. In the clearest form, in the absolute clearest form, it's a romantic comedy.
This is true love. Yeah. I hope we go to the wedding one day.
It was, and to look into it a little further, It looked like a gentleman who was pretty comfortable around the house.
That's what I'm saying.
When he went running,
he knew where to go.
He knew where he was going.
He wasn't like, where's the bathroom? That was not his fir's time in the crazy plane lady's mom's house.
Yeah.
And you don't make bets about, like, one of us has to jump in the pool.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, yesterday afternoon, I watched the Seinfeld episode where the Elaine loses a bet to a guy for dinner that Dustin Hoffman was in Star Wars. And Jerry's like, come on.
If you're doing
Dustin Hoffman in Star Wars, he lost the bet on purpose. That's why he's taking you to dinner. And that was that.
I mean, although going into that, you're probably thinking, plane lady's jumping in the pool later tonight. Cowboys are winning. You know what I mean? Like, you're not expecting a fucking 48-23 beatdown or whatever the fuck, 28 beatdown. But either way, when you're doing that, like, one of us has to jump in the pool. It's like, okay. And then you get warm.
I mean, look, I as a gentleman who's pulled the move before, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you're not doing it with someone you're not interested in.
Right. I mean, you know, Hank, I've always said that the book or the movie about Barstool is going to be a great one. But I think I've said Paul, but also Hank should be the one to, like, really write it. It almost should be through the eyes of a guy like Hank who started at Barstool as a child. Like a literal child, I think, by definition of the law, but certainly by his, you know, brain matter and personality and outlook and everything. And we have watched him grow. I'll never forget the Anastasia Ashley Snapchat picture. The naked Snapchat. And I remember that moment being like, a boy turned into a man that day. a boy like Snapchat drew a Snapchat artwork of himself like naked surfing. He grew into a man that day. And we watched it all. We've watched him grow professionally. We've watched relationships come and go. We've watched him go from, like, the scumbag club to, like, you know, I don't know if he's the finer things club, but he's not. This wine has hops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, he's a head of content at this place. So, like, he's more
in his place. He's a fine things club.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, yeah. I guess if you had to put him in the scumbag club or the finer things club, he's in the finer things club. So, like, your boy came up, and if it includes a love story with a viral sensation, in a weird way, that's probably the most fitting thing. Maybe that's, like, who Barstool people either need to, like, date each other, or, you know, when it's like Taylor needs to date someone, like, on her level, or like celebrities should date someone they both have a famous life. Maybe you need to date an internet weirdo. If you're an internet weirdo, date an internet weirdo.
I feel like that has high potential for disaster.
Totally.
Almost all the time.
Wouldn't that be
all the best
funny,
things
though?
to do?
Like, if that was, like, a thing where it was like, you know, if you went viral and you were good looking, it was like you link up with the people.
Well, dude,
you know, you're at the party or you're at the event or whatever.
We, I think Ricky's on this episode. We talked about with him a thread I was reading recently about people who use their 15 minutes of fame. Right, one I didn't mention was the hot felon.
Wait, I'm sorry. What'd you say?
The 15 minutes of thread fame.
15 minutes of fame. Yeah, the people who best use their 15 minutes of fame to parlay it into real fame.
Hot felon was on it, and I didn't know his story that he married a pretty rich woman.
I didn't know that either.
And then just took her money and split. Like, legally took her money. Like, not robbed her. Like, took her, like, they got married.
Let's be clear, though, that's robbing.
Yeah.
Just let's be clear, that should not be legal. That's robbing. I thought he became a model.
He did, and then through modeling, met some hot rich person, and
dude, when you're a dude and you take half, I applaud it because it's like, one for the good guys. We gotta fight back a little bit, fight fire with fire. But would you ever do that?
It depends. How much money are we talking about?
No.
If I'm married to Adele, remember Adele's husband was like, I want half that fucking album's about me.
But okay. Let's say you don't have a claim like that. There might be like a claim. Like if you date someone and you come up with them and you help them grind and you put equity into it yourself. Let's say you don't have that. Let's just say like you made your money and they make their money. They make more than you. You break up. Are you like, give me half that?
Probably not.
I don't think you would.
But like a players association.
You got to do it for the.
I got to do it for the squad.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's where I applaud it for. Where it's like when examples of a guy doing that.
I don't want to hold out. I want to get you guys.
I was just gonna use his name. Nobody was ever more of a greedy, selfish asshole than Darrelle Revis, and he parlayed that into I'm doing it for the next great the next great cornerback. I got to set the bar. Meanwhile, Tom Brady is fucking ruining that every year for quarterbacks, and nobody cares. So I do like it is nice to see the script get flipped. But I just couldn't do it. Hats off to anybody who does. I can't knock the hustle. But if it was just like we're breaking up, and it's like, okay, do you want to like try to run this person for all their money or not? I'd just be like, I'm not doing it. I don't know. Maybe if I didn't have my own money or whatever. But I don't know. It just was never an option. It was just like you make your own money. You just fucking go make your own money.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did we talk about Spoelstra on this podcast?
No,
we didn't. It was the internet ran with the notion that the Heat and Spoelstra waited until right after he signed his divorce papers to give him the largest extension in coaching history. I mean, $120 million extension. That's player money. Mm-hmm. That's I don't know how many years it was.
But also, I feel like because coaches don't count against the cap, a good amount of it's not. Basketball coaches, but football coaches, I feel like every football coach signs a 10-year, $100 million deal.
Football's a little different, too, because it's like, it's almost, as important as like the quarterback on the field as the coach.
Not every
and NBA,
coach.
Spoelstra is for sure the perfect example of like, a good coach, the Heat are always in it, whether they got the big three or whether they're, sleeper pick. Like, Spoelstra is that dude. So I'm not saying he's not worth it at all, but I'm saying it's just, that's wild. Used to be coaches probably make like a couple million a year. So even if he's on a $10 million deal, it's like 20, like maybe 30. We're talking 100+ million, 9 figures for coaches. Wild. He signed that deal 2 months after he was divorced.
Oh, I did that right away. I'm on the same table like the president. When the president is like, "You need your signature here, sir." I'd be like, "Nah, next one, bring the contract in now."
Do this hand and right hand and left hand, sign them.
Those artists who can do like 6 pictures at the same time.
I'm doing it with my toes. 2 months is in like legal terms and documents and divorce. Like 2 months is a matter of minutes, really. So it really is like right fucking after in that sense. It's a weird time to do an extension. So maybe it's possible. It was just one of those things the internet like made that gospel. There was no Erik Spoelstra didn't say it. Nobody in the Heat said it. It was just like people looked at the timeline and then one tweet went viral that said like, wow, like Pat Riley's a G. He really hooked it up like that. It would be naive to think that was not discussed because that's just probably how it goes, where it's just like, well, I have someone who's watching my finances and looking to like take money, and so let's not add to that pot right now. But I don't know, who knows? It could have been in the works prior, could have been, But I do like to live in a world like Miracle on 34th Street. I choose to believe that Pat Riley walked in and Riles is like, dude, we got you.
Is Pat Riley divorced?
I would have to imagine.
I would imagine so as well.
I would imagine Pat Riley has like 4 ex-wives just by being Riles. I don't know. Let me see.
If Pat Riley's divorced, that shit was on purpose.
That shit was on purpose.
Erik Spoelstra came in looking for a new contract. Riley's like, "What are you, an idiot? Fucking, you're having a hard time in your marriage, dude. I'll get you next year."
Pat Riley has been married to one woman since 1970.
Really?
So don't judge a book by its cover, bro. That was that was bad of us. 50 years they've been together.
Back when women were women.
Back when women were dudes. And you could trust a woman.
Take a punch.
Jesus Christ. Dude. This is some story, bro. They met in 1967. Pat Riley was 22. He had just been drafted. So, and then they tied the knot in 1970. So, like, he was famous, not famous, but he was like a professional athlete. But in 1970, playing for the league, you probably could make more money, fucking working the cash register at the local town shop. So, no, I definitely would have thought of Pat Riley as like a, greaseback, fucking New York, and now Miami guy who's like, I got 3 of those. I'll tell you how to handle Expo. Yeah. But maybe all the more reason. Maybe he was like...
I mean, he played in L.A. too, right? Wasn't he on those Lakers?
Yeah. I mean, that means he was like through all that shit. The Showtime Lakers.
Dude went through
the Knicks, the Heat.
70s and 80s L.A., 90s New York, and 2000s Miami. With one woman. Was she blind and deaf?
Is she locked in the basement? Does she know what's going on? Does he know what's going on? This might be the next to Hank and the Plane Lady. This might be the greatest relationship I've ever heard of. Pat Riley, I'll put her name out there. She deserves more than just to be Pat Riley's wife. Jesus Christ, where'd it go? Chris Rodstrom is her name.
Chris Rodstrom has a more ironclad contract than Spoelstra just signed.
For real. You know what she looks like, though? She looks like a woman, Like, you know that scene in Mystic River with Sean Penn?
Yeah.
When he's about to, I think, go murder some people, and she's like, you are a king, and kings do what they need to do.
I think that scene is your Criminal Minds.
I reference that a lot? Yeah. Yep, I can see that a lot. I wonder why. That woman evokes that vibe in me. We're going to New York. Okay, let's do it. Yeah. Oh, the Knicks won't give you a contract. Fuck them. Let's go to Miami. Let's build this. Let's get LeBron. I love it. What a woman. What a relationship. I need a double date. Pat Riley, Chris Rodstrom, Hank, Plane Lady. Boom. My year would be done. The only weirder thing on the internet than Hank and the Plane Lady this weekend, or this past week, I guess, was the George Carlin artificial intelligence stand-up special. This story is a wild one because it's not just a stand-up special. It also involves a podcast. But the crux of it is that there's a new hour of quote-unquote George Carlin material that a AI robot put together and put out on YouTube. It was published, it was put out on the podcast Dudesy, which is with Will Sasso from Mad TV. You know that guy?
The name rings a bell. I can't put a face to it.
He's kind of like the big white guy from Mad TV.
Yeah.
Bald head, beard.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. He's got a cameo in Modern Family.
Probably, yeah.
The gay Spanish teacher, Senor.
And so he and his buddy Chad have a podcast. And it's 2 guys, and then a third co-host / producer is Dudesy, who is supposedly an AI robot.
Okay.
And the notion behind it is there was a little tagline that was like, hang on, let me pull it up. It was like, this is a podcast where every episode is an experiment that generates data that will be used to make the next episode even better. Eventually, Dudesy will be perfect, and so will you. That's like the tagline on dudesypod.com.
That's a fairly interesting angle for podcast. I'm a non-AI person, but that's an interesting angle.
And so they talk to it like it's like
it talks back or types back?
Yes, it talks back.
Talks back.
Has a voice and everything. And so on this episode, it's Will Sasso and Chad Kultgen. They have been selected by a state-of-the-art entertainment AI to host the first of its kind of comedy podcast. Welcome to Dudesy. Our hosts have been convinced to grant the Dudesy AI access to all their personal emails, text messages, social media accounts, purchases, browsing histories. Yo, these guys are either the cleanest motherfuckers in the world or the craziest motherfuckers in the world. So that it can tailor the show to their specific personalities and entertain you at the highest level possible. Every episode is an experiment. That's what I said. I, like the kids, call cap. I think this is cap. I think they're capping. Well, for a couple things. So, on the episode, they're like talking, doing some segments, and they're like, "What's up, Dudesy?" And he's like, I got a new thing for you. I put out a comedy special last year. I guess he's done this before. I think it was just like his though. And he's like, so I did it again. I've got a new stand-up special. I used all of like Carlin's, voices and material, blah blah blah, and I put together a new special of George Carlin material, and I want to play it for you guys. And Will Sasso and Chad are like surprised. They're like, okay, this sounds like a little weird. And I'm like, are you telling me that these guys didn't know that this like AI like really came up with this and decided to put this out, and they didn't know this was about to happen on their own podcast? And then he plays like the clips, and it appears, and it could just be acting. And this is why I'm saying I think there's some element of it's not totally as it's described to be, because they're like watching it and kind of.
It's a video of Carlin, not just audio.
No, it's terrible. It's like stock photos that like pop up in like a PowerPoint, like almost. That's not good. No, it should have been. I don't know what it should have been, but it's like. So this. Let me talk about the special first. The special, the voice is oddly the voice I like didn't get, and that's the one thing I feel like the voice you can like nail it.
Yeah.
But I did go back and listen to old Carlin, like young Carlin, and it's more like that.
Okay.
So it sounds actually like Michael Bublé a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I might as well just play a little bit for you. It's more that than like, I don't even know if I would right away be like, that's George Carlin with the voice. And then the material itself is very Carlin. It's very like
and it's about modern times.
Yes, and then it's updated. Like the first modern thing he jumps into is mass shootings, which is like Carlin would absolutely tackle that. Let me just play like the very beginning for you. So in the very beginning, the dudesy gives this disclaimer. It's called the podcast. The special is called "I'm Glad I'm Dead," and I'll just play like from the beginning, the first couple minutes.
Hello, my name is Dudesy, and I'm a comedy AI. What you're about to hear is my second hour-long special. Before I get started, I just want to let you know very clearly that what you're about to hear is not George Carlin. It's my impersonation of George Carlin that I developed in the exact same way a human impressionist would. I listened to all of George Carlin's material and did my best to imitate his voice, cadence, and attitude, as well as the subject matter I think would have interested him today.
Dude, he sounds like the TMZ guy.
Elvis, or like Will Ferrell impersonating George W. Bush.
So that to me feels very like, hey, I know you're about to say this is AI and I don't like that, but they're laying it on thick. Like, this is, you laugh at other people who do impersonations.
Yeah.
This is just an impersonation. I'm telling you, it's not Carlin. I'm not passing it off as Carlin. I'm saying I'm impersonating him as an AI. And so it's like, I feel like they're already kind of like trying to mitigate that a little bit.
That was the most insulted I've ever been as a viewer. Like, I'm an impersonation. Let me give you examples of impersonation.
But
I know what an impersonation is.
But that's what I mean.
You son of a bitch.
They're doing it so heavy-handed that they're like,
how little does AI think of us?
Right,
like, I gotta explain impersonation.
I'll tell you the one thing. If you're gonna do this, that voice, you're right. It's gotta go. I can't listen to that. Like,
what? Kris Jenner's out in the Hollywood Hills.
You nailed it. You should do it.
Said, please enjoy my second hour-long comedy special. I'm calling it George Carlin, I'm Glad I'm...
Off the top, it's a very Carlin topic. He's talking about God.
George Carlin. This is not George Carlin. Now please give a very warm welcome to George Carlin.
Thank you. I'd like to start off with a heartfelt apology. I'm sorry it took me so long to come out with new material, but I do have a pretty good excuse. I was dead. So technically it wasn't my fault. If you want to blame somebody, you're going to have to blame God.
It's almost a little Joe Biden-ish.
Which we all know is not going to happen. People are always thanking God for the good stuff in their lives, but somehow they conveniently forget that it's the same God who does all the bad shit too. And he does a lot of bad shit. You get a promotion. Praise Jesus. You get fired. God is testing me. You meet your soulmate. God brought us together. Your soulmate dumps you. God is bringing me someone else. You survive a tornado. I'm so blessed. 20 other people do not. God wanted them in heaven. It's all bullshit. If he gets credit for the good stuff, then he's got to take the blame for the bad stuff too. You can't thank him for curing your cancer when he was the one that gave it to you in the first place. And don't forget, before he gave you cancer, he had to fucking invent it. What kind of a sick fuck dreams up cancer? And why so many kinds? Skin cancer, blood cancer, prostate cancer, breast cancer, kidney cancer, pancreatic cancer, liver cancer, lung cancer, and my personal favorite, rectal cancer. Dropping a golf ball-sized tumor in your brain doesn't quite do it for the old man anymore. He has to fuck you in the ass, too. And cancer is just one of many, many, many methods God created out of thin air in order to murder you.
This is the mass shooting part.
You know how much God loves killing people? He loves it so much he's killed every person that has ever lived.
I like that one.
He created earthquakes, lightning strikes, dehydration, drowning, obesity, starvation, infant death syndrome, old age, car crashes, train crashes, plane crashes, sex, drugs, and the common cold, all for the express purpose of killing you. No matter where you are in the world, God can pull out one of these goodies from his bag of tricks to end your life at any time for no reason other than he just gets off on making people suffer unnecessarily and die arbitrarily. But if you're in America, you're special. God made something just for you, something no other country on the planet gets. It's totally random, not related to your diet, exercise, lifestyle, age, race, gender, sexuality, or genetic predisposition. Of course, I'm talking about mass shootings. Other countries are fine killing one person at a time with guns, but this is America where we do things bigger and better and more often. There are so many mass shootings in America, it's replaced bad traffic as the #1 excuse for being late. Sorry I missed the morning meeting. A maniac with an AR-15 shot up my son's preschool. He's fine, just grazed. But he did see 5 of his classmates get gunned down in cold blood, so I'm sure he'll be traumatized for the rest of his life in ways I can never fully understand. Anyway, what did we decide to do about the budget next quarter?
So, I mean, I didn't even... That's exactly where I stopped. What the fuck? I was not inclined to go watch, like, a full hour of it, you know? And George Carlin fans are, you know, rolling over in their grave. George's rolling over his grave. His daughter put out a tweet, a 3-part tweet, being like...
I saw that.
Yeah, being like...
Listen to live comedians.
Yeah, why don't we go listen to live comedians? No one could ever replace my dad. But, I will say that is, like, a George Carlin set. Like, that's the kind of stuff he would talk about.
Uh-huh.
He does that cadence, and he does those sort of things. I'm not saying whether I think it's good or bad, but I think people are so inclined to just right away be like, no, this is terrible, where it's like, I could even see George Carlin today being like, I don't know, it's just AI, stop being a fucking baby about it, you know what I mean? Like, I could see people being like, George Carlin, this is everything George Carlin hates, but I could also see him being like, you guys being like dramatic blowhards about AI in comedy is also ridiculous too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but the clip they play in Dudesy is about AI. I guess what I'm describing. There's a clip in Dudesy, the podcast, where he talks about AI in comedy, and George Carlin, the AI Carlin is like, oh, so now comedy's over, right? Because AI is gonna write your precious fart jokes for you. And he goes on to tell like a decently funny dad joke about farts, kind of being like, look, we can all tell fart jokes, right? And the whole time, Will Sasso and Chad are kind of like I don't know how to feel about this, and they're like eyes bugging, and they're like, this is a little bit weird and kind of touchy. And then Will goes on to kind of talk about like how it's not the end of comedy, because he's like, I don't want to go listen to a song, everything you've always said, kind of. I don't want to go listen to a Nirvana song that's not played by Nirvana, that's not written by Kurt Cobain. So I think we're okay. But then I'm like, what? This is your podcast. Do they really not know that this was happening? Do they really not know it was going to be played on that episode? Is this the first time they're really hearing it? is somebody has to be orchestrating it in some way.
Wouldn't it be the AI?
But that's so. And then what I come back to, and the reason why I don't think this can be fully AI is there's like, at least to my understanding, unless they have some like back channel access to like the true AI technology, there's no other AI like publicly available that's even like close to this. Like getting to like the conversational artificial intelligence is still very like wonky and not that great. Like you can ask ChatGPT for prompts and it can give you information and it can look things up for you or whatever. But when you try to make it be like creative and artsy, it's still like that wasn't that good.
Yeah, I mean this was a couple months ago, so I don't know how much has changed, but I remember we were talking about in AI sketch, and I was making fun of it, and Greer was like, he's like, all right, fine, I'll prove you wrong right now, and he went and had said write a Feitelberg Bruins blog, and it's terrible, not even like unfunny, like it was like talking about the goalie Tuukka Rask, not the goalie, and
right, that's what I mean, stuff like that. It's not close.
Yeah.
You know, it can help, it can supplement, even like I've tried to do it like. Give me a YouTube title that, you know, captures these things that, you know, is clickbait or whatever. We'll get a lot of clicks. And it was like exclusive video, Michael Bublé. I was like, that's it?
Yeah.
That fucking sucks. So to then be like, our AI can write a whole fucking and perform a whole stand-up and like drop into our podcast kind of unexpectedly. And like, you know, now, and I did see something that was like, I guess he got interviewed, Will Sasso. I didn't read the whole article, but I saw like a headline that said like, we're under an NDA, we can't like discuss the technology. I'm like, if Sam Altman, like if like that, the main AI dude has come and given you the best AI that's behind closed doors, maybe this could all be true. I just venture to guess that Will Sasso is not the guy that has, you know, the best AI on the planet right now.
So are you saying that it's an impersonation, like it's a Will Sasso impersonation?
I think that it's more, yeah. I think that like Will Sasso and whoever else is involved in this are like, we know George Carlin, we watch George Carlin, we can imitate his work, you know, and then feed it through this thing and make it seem like it's AI or whatever, you know. But
I don't know what the dudesy thing is like. It's just, is it a company who they're doing the podcast with, or is it? Like if they're doing it with an AI company, I would imagine they have access to pretty high.
Yeah, but I'm saying like you think that like, I mean, no, I don't want to knock Will Sasso, but like, this is like the podcast that has, you know what I mean? Like this is where we're like unveiling like the greatest so far use of like art and AI. That seems unlikely to me. Let me see if I can find the.
I think the way you explained it, where they have access to everything, I actually think it makes a lot of sense. Because like if it's two comedians, I can see that they send a text like, "Yo, I was watching old Carlin this weekend. It was great," and then the other guy fires it up, and they're like, "Ah, man, I miss Carlin."
Yep.
If that's, everything I know you just told me, but if that all works, I can see the AI being like, "I'll make them a new Carlin."
I definitely think that's the. You know, the notion behind it, as I've always understood AI, it's like this AI can like, you know, skim through 1,000 hours of George Carlin comedy in a second and like put it all together. I think that's like where we're going. I haven't seen anything even like close to this. So all of a sudden to have like a hour-long special of whether you thought that was very funny or not, like it's comedy, it's a fucking act, you know what I mean? It's enough that we were sitting there watching it, and you know, some of it makes you chuckle, some of it makes you laugh, some of it makes you think, whatever. It just seems like I'm just skeptical. I mean, I didn't hear about Dudesy and Will Sasso until this second. And then, you know, it's everywhere. I think it's a cool notion. I think these are the things that people should do rather than be like, just, I don't know, stamp your feet and scream and yell that AI is going to ruin the world, because it's coming. So, you know, maybe we just fire Jackie's ass and replace her with a computer.
I was surprised how I'm not gonna go listen to it or anything like that, but I was surprised. Like I was like, oh, that's a pretty interesting angle. Like that it's collecting data and it's gonna improve the show and stuff like that. It could be cool.
I would love if it was like, if we got like a report being like, when you guys talk like this, numbers are up. When you talk like this, it's going down. I mean, this is technically what the humans who work for us should be doing, but whatever. That's bitch work. Nobody wants to do that. But yeah, I mean, if you could streamline all that and be like every episode, here's a report that it generates in 2 seconds, and when you talked about all this, the listeners tuned out. When you talked about, I don't know what information's out there and not out there and all that sort of shit, but it's coming. I just don't know if it's here yet, and I would be skeptical if like Dudesy with Will Sasso is the first to have it.
I don't know. I think if it I think I don't think it's great. I think Will Sasso's a big name.
Been around a long time,
but not a name who's like, I'm doing great on my own.
I guess so. Yeah, it's like if you asked Rogan to do that, he'd be like, I don't need this.
Yeah.
So it is. If you were about to start a podcast, I would tell you better have a hook. You better have a very interesting and differentiating hook, because otherwise it's bringing sand to the beach. And if you say our third co-host is AI and it's gonna change the show like each week for the better, I'm at least. I'm interested in it. I don't think I would sit there. They didn't like play the whole special. They just played like the pertinent clips, specifically the ones about AI doing comedy. But it was just funny to see them be like, they were almost like, I don't know if we should be playing this. Like, is this okay? And I guess it does pique my interest, where it's like, do you guys not know what's going to happen on your own podcast? Like at some point you have to choose to publish it and put it out and everything. I don't think they're doing it live, so there is like you obviously have control over your own show, but I don't know. It is wild though. But again, I still think the way that he was like, this is like any other impersonation. I'm like, I think that's what maybe you used AI to help put it together or whatever. But again, I don't think you can just go to.
Has Will Sasso ever done a George Carlin impersonation? I imagine.
I think he is an impersonation guy, right? Yeah, because before the show, before the Dudesy part, he was doing wrestling impersonations when I was watching. So I think he is like a voice guy, impersonation guy. That makes me feel like I study people's cadences and voices and styles, and I can like. So maybe you say, give me a George Carlin joke about mass shootings. And it comes out, and you go, well, he didn't. He would have said it like this, and then you start to do it. You know what I mean? That I think is probably more likely, but I am talking out of my ass, and I don't know for sure. This is just like my gut feel. I'm like, are we at the point where you can just go up to a prompt and say, take 2024 topics. Maybe you have to list out the topics. Maybe you don't. I don't know how specific you have to be, and be like, just give me a George Carlin special, and it's like, brah, here's an hour of comedy.
Yeah.
If that is the case, we probably are fucked, because there will be companies that will just do that sort of shit rather than pay, and there will be problems like that. But I just think that it's still. I think.
But you can't. If you did a George Carlin, I like this is the first one, so it's getting attention, and I think it's getting. Well, I would imagine mostly hate.
Yeah.
But like. I can't imagine anyone who likes George Carlin
wanting this
being like, well, I think that's a normal. I could be off base. I think you're like, well, it's not a George Carlin special.
The only thing I could see,
it's just definitively not,
is you're not going to get Carlin fans. The Carlin fans are like specifically. I think someone wrote an article. It was maybe the New Yorker or some well-regarded publication, and it was like this, I'm a Carlin fan, and this is the worst thing that's ever happened. You're not going to get those fans. I do wonder if you were younger and you were like, I've always heard about George Carlin, but like I go click on his clips and it's like black and white from the fucking 70s, and I don't even know what they're talking about, and all of a sudden it's like it's topics you know about and references you get. Maybe you would watch a little bit of that and be like, oh, my dad always talked about this guy, and like now he's talking about, I don't know what else.
But he's not.
Right. But
I think you just like, and maybe different generations, whatever generation I'm in, I think you're like, well, it's got to be not. I know it's not him.
I think it's got to be. I think music is the interesting one, where it's like, we talked about those Drake songs a few months ago, where I was like, I don't know, I like that song better than the Drake song that's out right now.
Yeah.
And if it's a 3-minute song that I'm just like popping on, and it comes on my shuffle, I'll probably listen to it. I don't think I'm going to sit down and watch an hour-long special of something I know made by a computer. But is that a generational thing? Will that eventually be like, I don't care who makes it? Like,
Jackie, you're of a different generation.
But I think I'm the same, where it's like,
There's just like, there's
that.
so much content to consume. Why would I want to watch something made by a computer?
And I think about it kind of like in terms of, I don't know, like reality TV. It's like you're so shocked when drama goes down because like it's happening to real people.
Yeah.
I guess. And so it's like, that's one that I could see where it's you have to have like the shock value of like also like when an artist does really well, like you're happy for them because you know that they're thriving.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know
what it is? There needs to be like stakes. Like when a comic like tells a joke that's like on the line, you know, like I had the balls to go up and do that.
Right.
Yeah.
A computer, it's like doesn't fucking mean anything.
Yeah.
I think that. But
yeah, I don't know what like the younger.
I do wonder if that is, you know, eventually going to be like dated where it's like does it sound good? Does it make you laugh? Does it make you cry? Like, does it do the job? Who fucking cares where it comes from?
Yeah.
You know?
I'm sure there is an element of that. Like, there's I think it's David Bowie talking about how computers are going to make music one day. And he's talking about, like, I think he's about EDM and stuff like that. And people are like, this is nuts. And obviously Bowie's right. But it's still a person? I don't know.
Like, I think the early examples are things like
I'd be
EDM
more
and
likely to
music
listen to
and,
one
like, animation. You know, people used to fucking sit there and draw it all, and now we just have a computer, and, like, I don't know. That doesn't change my opinion on, like, Toy Story. You know? Now, those are, like, very, like, basic examples where there's not, like... But I don't know. You know, an animator would have been like, probably would have told you, like, I put my soul into this picture, you know? And I moved it every fucking, you know, and now you just click a button. That's not art. That's not a movie. And it's like, well, yes, it is. We watch those all the time. They're awesome, you know? So.
That probably they had to start working with computers for that because every claymation animator just kept killing themselves.
Could you imagine, like, you know, there had to be somebody who the fucking tape caught on fire or you erased it or something after you moved Rudolph. If you moved Rudolph like 60,000 times and Jackie was like, I wasn't recording, there'd be a murder-suicide. There'd be a murder-suicide. You know, impossible.
This does, like, for my simulation theory whole thing, this really feeds in.
Oh, is it your simulation theory, Jackie?
Yeah. They call it the Jackie theorem.
No, I'm saying, like, this is a point for the simulation theories.
Is it, though?
Like,
because again, we don't really know what this.
But what's the difference between like, okay, yeah, then they start like acting like humans, and then it's like, okay, then you're like, oh, but they don't have emotions. But emotions are just chemicals. Like, literally, I could code like, if I scrape a knee, I am in pain. Like, then I'm in pain. Like, if I get broken up with, then I am like, I have release serotonin. No, opposite, whatever. Like. If I get promotion,
depends on who it is, now, doesn't it?
Then I get serotonin. Like, it's just, there's not a difference between humans. Like,
well, I think that's the point. Some people do think that way.
You're reverse engineering it.
No,
they're trying to make the computers like us.
I know, but I'm saying, like, how do we know that we're not already
computers
engineered?
Again, I don't have an answer.
No, exactly, because and it's like people are having less and less of answers. Like. We just can mimic ourselves, and there's not really proof that.
What do you mean people are having less and less answers to the fact
well,
that they're
I'm
not
actually
people?
saying I actually have not heard the people talking about this at all. This is strictly just me.
I mean, I guess, like, there was probably a time where there was a robot, right? And someone was like, that robot can't laugh at my joke and provide me comfort when I'm sad. And now we're fucking making robots that can. And it's like, okay.
But that doesn't mean I'm not a person.
But no, but like you don't know. And so that's the thing. So then you could, wait, hold on. Because then you could see that like.
I love when she gets going.
No, just like, okay. So let's just say like then what we're worried about is years down the road, like why is there a reason to like have humans anyways? Like why don't we just have these robots for everything? We make them up super good. We like, you know, have them act exactly like.
We want
them to. And then you could see, well, I know it's based on us. Okay, hold on. That was a point for you. No, okay.
The argument you're making is robots are improving, not I'm not a human being.
No, but first of all, there's just no way to prove. Like, you could see how easy it is to create a human. Like, at the end of the day,
Yeah, you come in a pussy.
No. But like, that still could be coded. Like, technically. Like
where I get lost is like there's flesh and blood and shit. Like if you cut me open, I'm like a biological thing.
Yeah,
That's
but
not...
so is like a car's anatomy. Like it's tin and whatever.
Yeah, not flesh.
Yeah,
I know, but
there's
like
alive materials and not alive materials.
But who is to say that flesh and bones is what makes up a human? Like that's
God.
Do you know what I mean?
Bible.
Like what? No, but like.
But
almost never.
I think you would say like if someone were to say like what is the definition? Google what is the definition of a human? It's probably an organic being that has like brain, blah blah blah. And I guess you could get to a point where it's like robots act the exact same way. We're talking about just what's on the inside of their
But
vessel,
we're still talking about recreating humans and not me not being a human.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I guess the other like maybe this is the final form of robots is like you don't even realize you're one. Like what was that movie I just watched? Did you watch it? This is a good example. Oh fuck, what's the name of it? I watched it on a whim. Foe. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that yet. No.
It's cool. It's cool. It's the notion is this guy is going to Mars or somewhere in space to work for like 3 years, and they're like, we're gonna leave you with leave
his wife with one.
His wife with like a carbon copy of your husband. I don't want to spoil it, but it dives into what you're talking about, and it's like you start to not know who. You don't. Not only do they not know, you don't know. Like nobody knows who's who and what's what. I don't want to spoil it, but
I never think I have confidence until we start talking about this topic, and I'm like, no, I know I'm a person.
No, but you can see like it starts.
You should watch Foe. You should watch Foe.
It starts with zeros and ones, and then like you can see it's like the same way that evolution happens is like it just starts to make sense to like have these life forms and all this, and then like it starts with zeros and ones. But what if there's like infinite code where every single scenario plays out, and then obviously in that code like there's gonna be a universe or there's gonna be some form or some timeline in which humans are created. I don't know. Humans are created, but then it's like, okay, but humans, so the way that we know humans, it's just code. I don't know. It's just like
Jackie just yells code a lot. But okay, here's the thing. And I think I keep saying here's the thing. What is crazier to you? Like that idea that there is some sort of that is like zeros and ones and some sort of like electronic coding, or the Big Bang Theory? Which sounds sillier to you?
I don't really know either of them. That idea, zeros and ones, doesn't explain much to me, and I don't really know the.
Like I'm just saying, like they're also. I think they're coming off the Big Bang Theory, and they're like that's not what happened. So it's like, oh, you guys don't know either. Like the scientists and shit.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody fucking knows. So then it's kind of like, to me, it's like, well, then I think everything's on the table, because it sounds insane that there would just be like one molecule somehow ruptures or whatever, and that eventually becomes everything that we know. That's your fucking. That sounds like the Bible. That's like some scientists out there. I feel like some scientists in the fucking 70s or whenever that came up was like on stage, like there was an explosion and people came out of it. And everyone was like, yes. There was a Big Bang. Like that never made sense in the first place, and I think they're realizing that now. So then it's like, well, then where did it all start, and why did it all start? And then to me, if they don't have an answer, I'm like, anything's on the table.
Yeah.
Also, you know what I think about a lot is like, Kevin, you know how you were saying that your like sister or your mom or somebody sees they see the world,
month swirl.
Like what?
They see months in a swirl. They see colors.
Yeah, isn't it like also like they see like a negative space and
lines and spaces. Everything is like the wall is a space, and then the edge of the wall is a line, and then the next wall is a space. Yeah,
like that's like don't you think that
they're just crazy bitches? Though.
No, but like that could be like them being like a robot that's glitching, because that's seeing zeros and ones. That's seeing the world through zeros and ones. So that's like an example of like a glitch. Like not exactly, but like you know what I mean. Like the way how we can see like we do see in terms of zeros and ones, but we're not obviously seeing zeros and ones.
What do you see when inside your head? Like when you think of like a memory.
Blur.
A blur?
Yeah, like I guess abstract painting type deal.
Do you have a voice?
A voice? No.
That would bug me the fuck out. If I had something, if I could literally hear a voice, I would probably blow my head off.
It's not a voice. I have a lot of conversations, but they're just with me.
Oh, that feels like a voice.
But
it's not narrating.
In my head,
it's me playing out
like,
conversations.
oh, this should have happened and that shouldn't happen.
Basically, I just think of what could happen, and then I think of all the other things that could happen in response to that, and I think of all the other things that could happen in response to that. But it's not like I'm not like, ooh, walking down the street.
Yeah, that would drive. I couldn't do that. Red car, yellow car. No, I couldn't do that.
But I have a very clear voice in my head where it's like,
what does it sound like?
I have a thought. I mean, it's my voice.
Oh, it's you. Okay.
But I think once a week, like, there's no way that everyone's head sounds like this because people would be talking about how loud it is. So I do think
that sounds terrible.
Once a week, I'm like, there's no way people will be talking about this more. So it does make me think. But I have a very clear, distinct voice.
But you're saying it. Like I'm having a conversation in my head right now, but I'm driving it. I'm
not like schizophrenic.
Maybe schizophrenic is just AI. Maybe it's just an AI telling you what to think.
No, don't even get me. Oh my god.
Well, you're describing her thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that some people aren't.
I think people see and hear thoughts in different ways. Some people, I think I talked about it on this a few months ago. The Havana syndrome, where people were like all veterans of war, like talk about having voices in their head and they kill themselves and stuff. They're saying that's like, what was it called? Do you remember? I brought this up. It's voice to skull technology, where it's like they're talking inside your brain.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how the fuck that would be, but it's like literally the government being like, assassinate the president, assassinate the president, assassinate the president, and you're going like, oh my god, that voice keeps telling me to assassinate the president. So some people think that's actually a voice in your head, Jackie.
Well, no. It's not like that. Like I always think about just I remember I had a soccer coach and he like was bilingual. So I was like, what language do you think in? And he was like, what do you mean? And he was like confused by the question. I was like, what do you mean you're confused by the question? What language are you thinking in for like when you're just alone by yourself, like doing stuff? And he was like, I don't understand the question. And I was like, I don't understand how you don't understand the question. Like when you're like putting cones down, are you thinking, okay, so I have to put this cone down and this cone down. What language is that? And he was like, I don't know. I guess just whatever language I'm speaking in at the time is the language I'm thinking in. And I was like, that's when I realized it was like you obviously like, you guys get it. Like you think in English very clearly, right? Yeah. I think that some people like see more abstract. They don't necessarily have that voice in their head. Like it's like more abstract images, not like a physical voice. Anyways, I cannot.
I feel like when I like
cannot let me go
try
down
to
these
like think
spirals.
of a memory, I think I just like picture the scenery of it. Like
mine looks like someone painted it, but like didn't like not. It's not detailed though. Like if I'm picturing like your face isn't detailed. It looks like almost like Dementors in Harry Potter. Where it's just
okay,
like,
I think I feel that too. Then
Yeah.
that's probably similar to mine, where it's like I'm not looking at like every detail, but I'm like, like we were sitting by the pool and John was over there.
Yeah,
and like
I get the gist.
Yeah, right. But I guess that's a very hard thing to articulate if we're not on the same page. It's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do I mean? It's like that's why I don't believe in Helen Keller. It'd be fucking impossible. We can all speak and hear and talk and we can't even figure out what the fuck we're talking about. Imagine trying to have this conversation with someone who couldn't hear or talk. Fucking insanity. It's madness and gibberish as is. By the way, this is why going back to just KFC Radio is so much better, because we could not have let this go on for like 40 minutes. We would have had to be like, we got to go to the radio. But instead, we could just let Jackie go, it's code! It's code!
I have to. You guys cannot let me go down this spiral because I do the same thing every time. We don't ever.
We
got
to get Jackie and Frankie locked in a room together.
Yeah.
And just let them. I want to lock Jackie and Frankie in a room, and we'll just call them Janky. And we just have like a speaker over we literally lock them in like a small room, and then we're just like the voice of God, and we just drop topics in every like 40 minutes, Just be like, what do you think? Like, do you think that God is actually like an alien appearing in the sky, and that's what people in the early humans thought go and just watch them fucking scramble for an hour and then drop a new one in every hour and just watch them probably eventually kill themselves.
I'm like the perfect candidate for a cult.
You should
totally
change your phone background. Is your phone background still "This is not real" or something like that?
Yeah, I just changed it yesterday. Weird that you said that.
It's a simulation.
Exactly.
Or instead of being a simulation, we could have been talking about that topic just now.
Wait, what?
That's what made me think of it.
No, but it is weird that she just changed it yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Because then that makes
we didn't
me
know
think,
we were going to talk about this.
and that actually goes with it. This isn't real because it's all just a projection of my imagination.
It's not a projection of your imagination. It's a conversation you're choosing to have.
No. What if this is the theory I believe less, but like what if you're just projection of my imagination? It's
But
like
I guess for a point for you, like that's what a conversation is. It's something you thought of and decided to say out loud.
Yeah, well, it's like you know how like no, but I don't actually. I'm not following what you're saying.
Well, you're saying this conversation was a projection of your imagination.
Yeah, because okay, it's weird that you just you know how it's like okay if you like something's coming up at work, like a project at work, and then that's gonna come in your dream because it's on the top of your mind. So it's weird that I just changed my background. All of a sudden, you're talking about changing my background. Crazy.
I get yes in a sense, but in another sense, we were talking about simulations,
but
and
how
your
do I
background
know?
was this is not real, and I was like, how about stop thinking like that, and then maybe you'll stop thinking like that, like stop being reminded of that every day.
Yeah.
That little camera just turned and looked at me, and I had like a Minority Report moment. I was like, I don't like this anymore. I don't know what's going on. And that thing's watching me. Next topic. We're done here. Today's episode of KFC Radio is brought to you by Ted on Peacock. Bob Fox is bringing you this second ad read. Bob Fox tweeted on January 15th at 12:30 a.m., so you know your boy was feeling good and doing a little binging. And Bob Fox said, I know I'm not the first to say it because the whole internet is saying it, but the new Ted show is hilarious. And here are the replies. Wish it was longer than just 7 episodes. Very easy show to watch. It's incredible. Easy to watch and very funny. Joe Saul says it's phenomenal. Billy Mack says literally just put the first episode on. It looks good. I mean, the results are in. It's the perfect type of show for guys like us. Bob Fox co-signs it. You know that he watches everything. You know the Basement Boys have their finger on the pulse of all the new shows, all the new funny stuff. So if it's good enough for Bob Fox and KFC and Feitelberg are getting down with it, it's worth your time as well. Easy to watch, 20-whatever minute episodes, all very streamable, bingeable, all 7 of them right now on Peacock. So sign up, binge them in one night. Try to hold on to them if you can. I don't think you'll be able to because it's hilarious. Ted, the prequel to Ted 1 and Ted 2, available on Peacock now. The last thing I saw that I think this might be the most – I always speak in hyperbole. It's just the way I talk. When I say the most ever, the worst ever, I'm going to kill myself, it's just that's my way of just saying the thing. I just happen to be dramatic like that. What Ali Lottie, Juice WRLD's ex-girlfriend, is doing might be the most despicable thing. Most despicable internet behavior I've ever seen. Ali Lottie, I think, was engaged to Juice WRLD. I think for the most part they were actually like a relatively like low-key couple, but
yeah, I never heard that name.
Yeah, like that's what I mean. Like she's got an OnlyFans and all that shit that I'm about to tell you about. So she's not like just the girl next door hanging out in the shadows, but it wasn't like a celebrity couple that we all knew about, right? She's saying that hackers are going to release her sex tape with Juice WRLD, so she's gonna beat him to the punch and do it first. And let me read you her. First of all, let's say that's true. I don't think that's. I don't know. I don't know what the rules to consent are and whatnot. But I don't know if you can go around posting sex tapes of dead people. I don't know. That's an interesting topic we can talk about. If I have a sex tape and you're dead, but you've got kids and a reputation and shit, like, what happens there? Is there does the estate have any say over it? I don't know. But it's like I made that tape. Like, we did it, like, I do have possession of that. I am in it. It's as much mine as it is his. He's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I've been noticing recently? When I do these, keep them open.
Nah.
When I've been doing major Freudian shit, when I've been doing, like, sex hypotheticals, I keep saying his. Like in this case, I'm thinking of the girl spot, but there's been times where it's a dude, and I say him. I'm like, what the fuck was that about, dude? But like, you know, it's like my first thought would be like, I don't know, he's dead. That doesn't matter anymore. His zeros and ones got deleted.
Can I also just say my second biggest conspiracy theory is that Juice WRLD is still alive?
That you were on that one heavy. That one doesn't even have any good examples.
No, I don't. That one's not my strongest.
Yeah,
And that's number 2.
number 2.
Can I ask what number 3 is?
I spent too much time on the simulation one and not enough time on the Juice WRLD one.
Juice WRLD one.
So,
he like I would think it would be like, yeah, that's your video to do with what you please. The other party's dead now.
Yeah.
It's like if you owned a house with somebody, I think, and they die, like you own the house now. But if there is, I could see like you put out my sex tape while like my kids are alive and shit. You know.
Does he have kids?
No, but I'm saying
okay.
that would be my thing. You know, it would be like we kept that private when we were alive, and now that I'm dead, you're putting it out. So there's some legality.
This is the conversation they had in the Warner Brothers boardroom in 2005. Whatever year Dark Knight came out.
Can we do this? But I think. So then she goes on to say, hackers are trying to threaten me to leak my old, and she's doing this on her OnlyFans with like capital and bold and emojis. The title says "fucking my famous ex" with a devil emoji. Hackers are trying to threaten me to leak my old sex tape, capitals, with my ex-fiance Juice WRLD emoji. I don't give a fuck anymore. I'll leak it myself. It's been a long time since I've been fucked rough with some big black cock like this anyway. Capital letters. I'm so mad that I'm adding every nude I've ever sent to him. I know you will at least enjoy it. I can't believe I'm actually sending this, but I can't be threatened anymore. Check your DMs.
Ooh.
That is the grimiest shit I've ever seen.
And what's her OnlyFans handle?
Yeah, like, but I'll watch. How much is it? $19.99? Okay.
I actually...
No, I don't think I would do that.
I would not watch...
I've always said I will watch anybody's sex tape. I think they have to be alive.
Even with porn, when porn stars die, they're off my roster.
You don't ever do you know how it's skyrockets?
I do the opposite.
Do you do like one last time?
No, I also have never
gave
had a
August
favorite
Ames
porn star
one
die.
last.
The August Ames was.
I
very
think
pretty,
August Ames is the Nipsey Hussle of porn.
Where she wasn't that big, and then, but I think she was. I guess.
I mean, she must be on some level, but and I know people get very defensive of Nipsey Hussle, and I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead or anything, but I think I've seen where it's like Google mentions of him, and it's like literally the world was talking about, and it all became like, this guy's my favorite rapper, and like R.I.P. to him, and like we need.
I had never heard of Nipsey Hussle.
Never.
I'm obviously not
like rap fans would be like, are you kidding me? He's amazing, but it's like that's my point. August Ames, I did not know of her until she passed.
I knew of her,
but she was like best friends with all the ones we know of, so she must have been like, you know, in the mix. But yeah, that's my
K Marco was a big one when she died.
Right. Yeah, I remember he was very, very upset about that.
The whole office was. So I think we're in the minority. She was not.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong.
But that is I didn't know what that was going to say going into it. That's tough.
That's tough.
That is
like let's go to complete imagination fairy tale land, and let's say hackers are doing this. Like, you still wouldn't do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You still would not do this. Certainly not for money. Certainly not for, like, check your DMs for the price. Like, that is, you would not do that. You would be like, I would come out and be like, you know, the love of my life has passed away. I want you to know anything that comes out is not me. There are people threatening to do terrible things, and if you see it, like, that is not me, and, like, please respect, blah, 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 blah. You wouldn't be like, all right, I'm gonna beat you to the punch.
Yeah, the money too.
I mean,
if you're gonna beat him to the punch, be like, here, it is free.
I guess in the sake of you know, it doesn't say like check your DMs to buy. It says check your DMs to see. I guess nothing here is literally saying price or whatever. But you know, come on.
Yeah.
Also, you wouldn't just be like check your DMs and like, oh, I'll send. If you're sending it privately, you're sending it for money. Because if the whole point is to take back the power, you would just put it out.
Put it out.
Because if it's not out there,
like I would just wait until someone put it on sale. I would just play the game of chicken. I'm like, if they're gonna do it, do it. And then once they put it on sale, I'd put it out for free.
Right, like to fuck them over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously, none of this is true, and you're just doing this to make money. And I think that should be, like, illegal. I think it should be, like, a judge should be like, I don't know what the legal precedent is, but this is so goddamn shitty, this is illegal.
Yeah.
You know? Like, we always talk about, like, in sports having, like, a common sense ref or law or something where it's just like, this sucks, yo. Like, don't do this. And if you do, like, we have to punish you just so it doesn't happen to other people. It's like Darrell Revis.
Yeah, I think we're past the time of non-consented nudes being put out there, and I think he definitively didn't consent to this. So,
but yeah, like there probably does need to be some precedent set on that where it's like, can dead people consent? They can't. What?
Is he though?
Jackie's like, he's alive, so it's fair game.
Imagine if this is what smoked out Juice WRLD. He came out and was like, no, that's my sex tape. I've been alive the whole time.
Dude, that fucking that mashup I sent the other day.
Oh my god.
Dude, there's a mashup of it, of Blink-182 Adam's song with a Juice WRLD song, and it's gas.
What is it? It's Blink and Juice WRLD?
It's on YouTube. I'll put a little bit. I'll play a little bit real quick. It is.
I like to think that there's some mashup KFC Radio fans, like a mashup DJ or just a mashup listener who was listening to that last episode being like, I feel so seen. I feel so heard. Yes, mashup culture. Mashup culture needs a comeback. We need the rise of mashups again.
Dude, Jackie's rocking out to like kids is so funny.
Dude, you're doing the same thing.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
because
you are.
Wait,
so for people who don't know, Jackie and Feits both love mashups. Jackie chooses to listen to high school girls lacrosse pregame mixes. And John listens to like punk pop, punk rock, emo mashes, which are definitely also teenage kids.
These are all old songs, so they have to be my age.
I don't care. There's still like emo, like weird freaks, like headbangers. Whatever. My fucking 14-year-old lacrosse girls would beat the shit out of your emo guy.
No, we'd shoot you.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. How's that usually work out for the popular athletes, Jackie? Anyway, let me play Adam's song real quick. Wait, there. Dude, gas! It's fucking gas, Jackie!
If I wasn't bitter about it, if you didn't come at my lacrosse girls, I would say that's pretty gas. But I don't like it, and I don't like them.
I don't like it at all. I don't like it. Not good.
Don't worry, that one's about us killing ourselves, not lacrosse girls. Oh, I had a very embarrassing moment on the dozen where I was finished those lyrics, and it's lyrics I've been singing my entire life, and it's like I was like, but I'm still so lonely, and I like did it like so jacked up, and it's just not the lyric.
Oh no! I
was like, dude, I was walking through the high school locker, like high school. It's definitely
what song is it?
Kanye, early Kanye, like maybe 808s and Heartbreaks.
Okay.
And it's I forget what it is, but it's lonely. To be fair, lonely is in the lyric, but it's not. But I'm still so lonely. Is it
about that, like, in the night I sleep
alone?
That one? Yeah. But this is the point. Like, this is why
I actually, to give myself a little credit, the gist of the lyrics are still about being lonely.
That's what I was gonna say. It's probably, you look stupid probably like singing it, but like I'm sure there's a bunch of people going, oh, I thought it was lonely too, not alone or whatever. There are so many lyrics. I mean, like to this day, I'll listen to songs that are like 30 years old and pick up on something that
I don't know lyrics. Like that's what I mean when I say I don't like listen to music. Cause I it's obviously on, but like I can't. Oh, I've said just 5 times on this episode today, but like I can tell you like what a song.
It probably makes sense the way you think.
Yeah,
like the way you have memories is probably the way you think about lyrics.
I'm like, yeah,
your brain is probably that actually probably makes
it.
a lot of sense that your brain is wired that way. So you're like, I listen to the beat, I get the idea, I understand what you're talking about, but I don't know whether you said alone or lonely or lonesome.
Right.
Whatever. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
That's why though when it's we do those AI those ATI questions, like gun to your head, you have to sing the correct words to it's happy birthday.
0.
That's it.
0.
Happy birthday is the only one I got. The national anthem, happy birthday. Like if you could put my favorite song in front of me.
I mean, you could go back and watch it. Adam's song's one of my favorite songs. I definitely didn't nail all those lyrics.
I actually noticed. I thought that you were just off, like it was. But I'm seeing now you're on, like it's queued up. It's just you.
Well, John's also come on. You're a little bit dumb.
Yeah.
It's not, dude. I missed a dozen. We were like 14-0 in music last year, so we always double, and it was a song that I should have got and I didn't, and it's eating at me. Like it's just been on my mind for like 4 days.
What song was it?
It was "Walk It Out," and I should get that. You know what's so funny though? When I hear "Walk It Out," I do not think of that as a real song anymore. I think of that as
Penguins.
The Penguin. No, I think of the Dystonia Cheerleader.
The
chick who said she got the disease dystonia and could only walk backwards properly. That was a big time like old school blog thing. Woman got like a vaccination, and when she walks forwards, she like trembles and shakes. But when she walks backwards, she's perfectly fine. And it was obviously a complete lie. But they made internet memes of her where she would start walking like this, walking it out. I'll walk it out.
This is what I think of.
Oh yeah. But what's funny, like. This is gonna be a nightmare for you with music, Jack.
I know.
Yeah. That has like an Andre 3000 verse. It's like a real, like
Yeah.
It's amazing. But to me, it's like they on the dozen they always play like one weird part of the song, and it's like I don't ever like listen to "Walk It Out." I just hear a clip of it on the internet. It's just an internet song now. So,
dude, speaking of Andre 3000, I don't think we ever mentioned it. I'm one of like the 7,000 people who listen to the full album.
Let's see. I know the numbers. When you listen to him, I believe it was 17,000 like total people had just listened to the album,
and like 2,000 had gotten all the way through.
Correct.
And I was one.
Correct. It was like it was low single digit thousands of people who listened to like every song on the album. But John listened to it on a plane, right?
I was just reading, and I just wanted like non-lyrical background to kind of drown out conversations on a plane. So like I'm not pretending to hear. I was like, I'm loving this album, or like I couldn't tell you any of the things on it, but it was like it just. I wanted. Sometimes I'll put on classical music. I'll
put this shit to go to sleep.
Yeah, it was like I was like I just want to not hear other things and let my brain focus on the reading. So I listened to it front to back, and then I think like 2 days later, you were like, dude, literally no one else did that.
It's crazy. Although, wait a minute, is this? So you know what's wild? It's got millions of listens.
Yeah, it's nice because it's nice to just have on. Right?
But like
when an album drops.
Okay, but wait, this is interesting. This is kind of crazy. This is a perfect example of like, and I love Andre 3000, and I love that people like support him because like the world needs like artists like him. But like, all of his top shit right now is his flutes. And like if you are out there listening to the Andre 3000 Flute album being like this is a great album, you're just saying that because it's Andre 3000.
Yes,
you're doing
unless you're a flautist,
sure,
and you know
totally
how the
if you're a
flute
fluter if you're a big fluter, fine. But everybody else is doing this not only because it's like celebrity culture where you stan everybody, but he's the type of guy who people like to say they support.
Yeah,
nobody wants to be. People are like ashamed to be like a Machine Gun Kelly fan.
Right,
You know,
right.
no one's like, oh, I listen to everything. People want to be like, I listen to all
100%.
all Andre 3000. 3 Stacks
And
is the best.
I'm not. That is not. I do that with people for sure. That is not what I'm doing. Like I don't need. I know a few Andre 3000 songs. I like them.
Yeah.
But like I'm not an Andre 3000 guy.
Yeah, in
It was
rap,
just
he's
like,
revered as like, and he's great, and justifiably so. But we want him to rap, and now he puts out a Flute album, and rather than like, I didn't like say like, fuck this Flute album. I was just like, okay, he put out a Flute album. I'm never gonna listen to that. I don't listen to Flute music.
Yeah.
The fact now that there's 6.7 million people who listen to I Swear I Really Wanted to Make a Rap Album, but what is it called? It's I Swear I Really Wanted to Make a Rap Album, but this is literally I have to wait for the scroll. The Way the Wind Blew, I think. Yeah. The Way the Wind Blew. I wanted to make a rap album, I swear this blew me this way. So, you know, it's like you're trying to be like, no, it's music, man. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
That's when I don't trust. That's why I can't trust anybody. I'm like, there's a huge chunk of people on the internet that would like argue with you that this is good music, man. And it's like, how many other Flute people you listen to?
It's good
Name
music
one
for
other Flute song.
What you're trying to do. Like sometimes like I have like classical albums. I don't really do much
Sure.
anymore. But like
Trying to relax.
if I'm cooking, put it on.
You want to have a dinner party.
And I would not be able to tell you what good flute music is. But
No.
there's.
If I were to host an adult dinner party right now, I would probably go, oh, I'll put on Andre 3000.
Yeah.
And then I could say, this is actually the Andre 3000 song,
Right,
you know?
right.
And it's the vibe, and then it's a little more interesting than, like, elevator music. Oh, I put on Kenny G.
Yeah.
You know? But, like, get the fuck out of here.
We
Television.
interviewed Kenny G, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Foreplay definitely did. Did we too?
Yes, we did.
I think we did.
It was good. I remember being like, because he said something, I think we made like a G-spot joke, and he said something about not needing to get air when he's eating out pussy. I think.
Yes.
Fucking awesome. Speaking of great interviews, Ricky Velez on the show today. Just one of the funniest dudes.
He's the man. I really
I did not
like
know
Ricky.
how young he was. So he's only he's your age, 34. So
I thought he was younger than me. I thought.
You knew he was
Because
young?
isn't Pete like 25?
No, I don't
Or has
think
Pete been
anymore.
25 for 10
I think
years?
Pete's been 25 for 10 years.
Yeah.
I think Pete's probably got to be early 30s now too. Let's see, Pete, because he was like 21 when you know everything first started. Oh, he's 30, so he still is younger. So he's a little older than Pete.
Yeah.
I guess that makes more sense because I was gonna say when I first saw Pete Davidson on stage, it was like right before he really blew up, and Ricky Velez opened for him. And so I was thinking, you know, Ricky's got to be older by now. That was so long ago, but he's still only 34. Is crazy young. The fact that Pete's only 30 is fucking even crazier. That was so nuts. Me and Caitlin went backstage at Caroline's. It was Ricky, Jordan Rock, Chris's brother, and Pete, and all three of them fucking murdered. But I was, you know, that was really before I went to a lot of stand-up comedy and knew, you know, who anybody was. So I was like, I'm here for Pete, and Ricky was so fucking funny. I was like, wait, the openers are that good?
Yeah.
Like everybody, and then Jordan Rock burned it down. But we went backstage, and I have a picture of Pete just pointing to Caitlin's belly with Shay. He's just like doing a goofy Pete Davidson thing, like, and I think he kind of like framed it. Like he didn't touch her, I don't think, but he was just like, hey, look, like belly. And then I don't even know how long after that, like he's banging Kim Kardashian. It's like, what the fuck, man? That we just missed the like. The podcast wasn't like, you know, nearly what it is now, and I wasn't in the mode of like, yo, you got to come on the podcast. You know?
Yeah.
And I think he probably would have at that point because we had talked enough.
Right.
I think we had texted at one point. I think it was over the phone. So it was like, hey, I'm gonna come to your show. He was like, oh, come backstage, whatever. And now you know, it's like that ship has sailed. But it is funny talking with Ricky, who is like, still, you know, he lives around the corner, and he was like, yo, like, I'd love to come by anytime. And all the work he's doing is always with Pete. You know what I mean? But some great stories. A great story about almost being robbed in Miami and life on the road and doing all sorts of writing and shit, movies, all the stuff he's doing with Pete. So Ricky Velez on the back half. All right, we wrap up today's TED Takeover on KFC Radio, courtesy of Barstool Nate. He's also on Twitter reviewing the new Ted series. And Nate says, not to simp Peacock, but the new Ted show is V-funny. It has all the WWE pay-per-views, The Office, Parks, 30 Rock, and all the Harry Potters, bunch of other movies and shows. So go check out Peacock, not only for all that other catalog, but specifically the new Ted series. Seth MacFarlane, comedic genius. They got the perfect kid.
He's really never missed, I don't think. Like, everything he does is either extremely popular or critically acclaimed.
Right.
Or mostly both.
And I was going to say Ted is probably going to be both. There's certain shows that people get on board. Like, it's a feel good, and they all jump on board, and you watch it, and then you're like, okay, but this isn't really that funny. It's like, okay, we all feel good about it, but it's not actually good. Ted has a little bit of both. It's got that feel good because it's like young and nostalgic, but also it's got the cutting comedy where it's like these are actual jokes and they're not afraid to push the boundary. And that's what Ted is. That's Ted in a nutshell, and they brought it to TV. All available on Peacock with like everything else that Nate said, the entire catalog available to you. So sign up and stream Ted along with all the other NBC properties now on Peacock. All right, voicemails, but real quick. Had my first basketball experience with Keegan, which is an entirely different vibe to me. Like, baseball is like, Little League to me is like church. Like, going to baseball with Keegan, it's like the only reason to be a dad. But basketball is almost, in a weird way, it's like maybe not above it. It's different, but in a bigger way, like, because I played basketball longer than I played baseball. Uh-huh. So, like, I played all through high school, and, like, it's not like I played on any major levels, but it was, like, that was when I was my own person. Like, I trained, and I wanted to, like, jump higher and learn to play basketball, So when I'm, like, it's the first time I'm really, like, back in the gym, you know what I mean? Just being around, like, basketball culture again. And so, like, I was like, oh, wow. It's just like the sounds and the smells and, like, all that shit, And then it was the worst goddamn experience of all time. Basketball at that age is a nightmare. Like, baseball is, like, hard enough, but it's like, stand right here and try to hit the ball. And then stand out there and try to catch that ball and run to that square thing. It's a nightmare to explain all the other intricacies of, pop flies and tagging up and all that shit. But the basics,
Uh-huh.
And you could say the same about basketball. Get the ball, put it in there. But it's like you got to dribble, and you can't touch anybody. And this, you pass it here, you pass it there, and then shoot it. All this shit. Nobody on the team was even strong enough. I guess this league, we play on 10 feet. I don't know why. I think you should play on 8 feet, maybe even lower at this age, because kids can't fucking reach the hoop. They can't dribble. They don't understand anything. But we got out there, and we were playing 8-minute quarters, which is like high school level. 4 8-minute quarters, not running clock. Like, we were stopping the clock for out of bounds and stopping the clock every time the defense needed to fall back. There's no pressing, all that shit. It was, I think it was 2-0. It was either 4-0. It was 2-0 midway through the third quarter. And so Keegan is 6, and I think this team is all 6-year-olds. I think we were playing some kids who were like 7. There was this one kid who would just dribble once or twice and then grab the ball and run like 5 steps. Dribble once or twice, run the ball, So he was running all over the fucking court. This kid, I swear to God, shot the ball like 40 times. He was like, at the end of the night, he was probably like 3 for 40. They won 6-2. But that 2 points was a basket from Keegan. And it was, an electric moment. For our team, who had a bunch of, like, scrawny kids, like again, nobody could reach the fucking net, let alone get a ball up and over the hoop. And, but because we had a couple practices and Keegan showed that he can, like, get the ball up there, like, the play, if you will, was just, like, try to pass it to Keegan, try to pass it to Keegan, try to pass it to Keegan. And these kids were a little bit older, and they would just, like, swat the pass or just swarm him right away. But the one play, he just, like passed, turned, didn't put the ball down, like, just a true post-up move. Caught it, pivoted, and threw it up, and it goes in. And he's high-fiving people on the baseline. One of the grandmothers of another kid on the team, who I don't even know, goes on the court and hugs him. It was quite the scene for a single basket to be scored.
Dame time.
Big time. So, and then he finished the night probably took 4 shots when it was all said and done. And he was 2 for 4, but one of the other baskets was on the wrong hoop. Because, again, like, we had only practiced. When we practiced, we just, like, practiced on one hoop. And I was trying to explain to him. I said to him, okay, like, today is a game. You're playing on 2 hoops. You shoot on this one. They shoot on that one. You have to stop them from scoring on that one. And I saw him look at me and go, okay. And I was like, nothing. Not a single word. I saw those eyes. The words bounced right off your fucking head. You didn't get a single word of it in. But I had told him, it's such a fine line of, like, I remember finishing basketball being like, I wish I was a chucker. I wish I took 30 shots a game. Like, all the glory is mine. You know what I mean? I went 7 for 25, but hey, you know, I put up 20 in that game. But instead, I was always like, make the extra pass and take a charge and get the loose ball. And I was like, fuck that. I should have just, like, played for my personal self, you know? And then we get there, and I'm like watching them tell, like, get the ball to Keegan, and I'm like, I don't want him to be the ball hog.
Yeah.
The kid's going to think that. But I did tell him at one point, I said, if you get the ball and you are anywhere near the hoop, you fucking shoot it. I didn't say fucking, but. And then took me very literally. Got a rebound on, like, from the other team on their side of the court and put it right back up and in. And I was like, hey, it went in, dude. It went in. And he was like, but this is how I know he's going to be, like, competitive and all that shit. He was like, it counted for the other team. And he said that to me very seriously. Like, I gave the other team
an
points.
idiot, Dad?
Yeah, basically. I was like, all right, let's go. But watching, like, scrawny little kids try to play basketball is, you know, somehow, some way in baseball they actually make contact every now and then, and it's like, oh wow, like, hit it to the outfield. Basketball is a tough one. It's gonna be hard for a little while. I always played. Did you play basketball?
I played. Yeah, I mean, I did the
Like
kid
for a
stuff.
team?
I did CY. I played CYO probably in middle school.
Like, I feel like I played on 8 feet for a while.
I
like,
don't have hard.
I feel like I
memories of
played
it.
till like 5th grade. So when you're 6 and you're trying to shoot on a 10-foot hoop, it's like literally the pros do this.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crazy, right? LeBron James and Keegan are shooting on the same hoop. That seems a little wacky to me. But anyway, that's begun. So, you know, we were arguing with Steve-O about having kids. It's like, the only reason so far are when your little girl makes you, like, feel like when you do, like, some daddy-daughter shit, and when your son plays sports, it's pretty cool.
That's it.
Otherwise, it sucks. Voicemails.
Hey guys, so I got kind of an old school KFC Radio would you rather style question for you. Would you rather every day when you leave your house or apartment have to swim through an entire Olympic-sized swimming pool and you get that chlorine stickiness and stink all over you every day, or every day have to wear a bathing suit? So again, you could pick anything you want to wear on top, but your bottom is always a bathing suit. Both these apply for every situation, whether you're going to work, going to a wedding, going to a funeral. Let me know. Viva.
I think it's the pool, and I think you embrace. I always say, everybody always says swimming is the best thing you can do for your body. It works out like 80 muscles at a time.
Yeah.
And if you can just swim every day, like, you would be in shape, but it's just kind of logistically hard to do that. If I had some, you know, weird world where I had an Olympic pool, and every time I left the house, I got that workout in, it'd be good for me. Plus, I mean, trying to put on a suit with bathing suits, like trying to pull on some pants over a bathing suit.
Dude,
We're not doing like Speedo. You can't do you know, it's like let's do like early 2000s board shorts.
I mean, I lived that life. For middle school, I just have like baggy shorts under my shorts.
I remember doing basketball shorts as boxers every now and then. I remember being like, this is ridiculous. It's so bunchy and like I can't.
I think my groin area can take a beating. I think, bro, I think it's
define a beating. What does that mean?
just like I'm used to the it doesn't affect me. Like it's
But like, I think it's like the discomfort. It's not
The
beating,
discomfort,
Like, it's not pain, but you don't get bothered by like bunched up underneath your pants.
It's not
like you always talk
ideal.
about wearing
like,
boxers.
Bro, I'm
boxer
wearing
briefs.
a thong right now.
What?
Like my underwear right now is up like this. I don't know why.
Why?
Right now, my
My
briefs I'm wearing are actually particularly long today. They go down to here. Right now, they're up here.
and you just don't fix them. Like you just went to the bathroom right now and you just left it. Like
What are you gonna do?
Fix them. You're just gonna go like this, like, and you're good.
It is.
But like, I think the thong is like the opposite. I think I could wear a thong before I could wear a bathing suit everywhere.
Yeah.
Because a thong is
But
just
what
like
I'm saying, like, it's like things just get bunched up down here, and it's just all part of the mess.
Ugh.
You know? It's all just. I think I would be. I think the only issue I would have is if it's with the one with the net in it.
I was gonna say net or no net.
If you're going net, then I'll probably end up cutting myself. You ever like?
I mean,
No, like having cuts in my groin.
oh, I went. I thought you meant cut it out, and then we said no. I said
I think it's because when I
You're gonna kill
sit,
yourself?
I slouch a lot like this, and everything starts to
yeah,
ride
that
up.
elastic around your eye is not.
I've
great.
had beach vacations that end with both my groin tendons just like sliced. You know?
Yeah. No, I know that. I don't. The net is terrible. I hate the net. The net is no good. But then I also understand the logic of the net sometimes. Where I'm like, oh, I'm flopping around here. This is like not great.
But I'm always flopping.
no, you're not.
I stay flopping.
No, you don't.
I think I do.
You're never flopping. You wear boxer briefs.
But I
Like,
guess
there
I
have been
never
times
feel secure. I don't know if it's floppy then.
I've been to like the public pool, and I'm wearing like a thin bathing suit, and I don't have the net, and I'm like, there's the tip of my dick.
but that's
And
like
I'm around like children and families and stuff. Like, there's the tip of my cock.
yeah. But when you're walking around, like say you're at a friend's pool, like are you like I'm out of control right now?
No, because at least I'm around adults, but I'm always like, there's the tip of my dick. So sometimes I'm like, I could use another layer there, but obviously I can't put like underwear on. But what's the solution? A net that doesn't really soak up water. But yeah, what you need is like a better a pair that has like a thicker like Velcro spot. You know? And then it's like that's just the
that's
Velcro.
the board short. The board short though, you
Yeah.
end up with a fucking rash.
Yeah, rubs right on your piece. Yeah, right on the tip. That's tough. My buddy once peed in the same bathing suit so much that it got like a stain, and I'll never forget him being like, we were talking, do you pee in the pool? Do you pee in the ocean? Do you get out of the water? And I was kind of like, I'll just piss my pants right here, dude. I don't give a fuck. And he was like, yeah, me too. And then he's like, but you got to be careful because if you do it too much, it does get a little discolored. and he said it. It was kind of like we're in the trust tree. It was like, yeah, I don't go to the bathroom. I'll pee in the pool, whatever. And then he said that, and I was like, you piss so much in the same underwear, in the same bathing suit that it got discolored. And he was kind of like, what? Now we're judging? I was like, well, I just didn't think you walked around with like a yellow stain in your fucking bathing suit.
His
dude.
bathing suit looks like my pillow.
That pillows really are. Pillows are so disgusting. And how? How does that happen?
Sweat a lot.
But like you don't. It's not like you go to bed like you just hit the gym. You know what I mean? Like you lay your head down and it's sweaty. And like if you wake up in a pool of sweat, it's like a thing. You're like, oh my god, I'm sick, or I'm hungover, or the air conditioner's not working. Like so, you might get hot here and there, but you don't wake up wet. And and through those pillowcases into those pillows on the other side is yellow, brown disgustingness that can't be stopped. Like you can't, once it's there, like you can't wash it out, you can't fix it.
Dude, my pillow
Same thing with the mattress, dude. I can't even imagine how yellow. When was the last time you changed your pillow?
I got new pillows recently. I remember I texted Dave. But I actually don't really like those pillows.
Yeah, those are terrible pillows.
I didn't really like it. They're too soft. It's a preference thing. I like a harder pillow, I think. So my favorite pillow, I did the laundry yesterday. My favorite pillow, turns out, is the yellow one.
The yellow one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the one you've been laying on fucking forever. But man, when I see those, I remember the first time I learned that, like as a kid, I was like, what is that? And my mom was like, that's just like you. Like, gross. And I was like, oh my God. Disgusting. Girls have that too. Girls' pillows are gross too. Don't think that you're immune from it. You're disgusting also. How yellow is your pillow, Jackie?
I can't look like. I mean, that's fine. It's like an average pillow.
Average yellow.
There's only one that's like bad, I think. But that's one that I can't think about beds. Like, it grosses me out.
Ugh. I guess sometimes I will put it like under my arms, so it's like in my armpits, between my legs. It's disgusting.
I just got silk pillowcases, just by the way. Huge game changer.
Silk pillowcases. That's for your hair, right?
That's for wrinkles.
Wrinkles. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways.
Jackie is having a crisis.
Yeah.
A crisis. Did something happen? Is there like a younger girl that like something happened that is like a?
I think just TikTok. Like it's like every single time I go on TikTok. Also, Sephora. I think the chicks in the office just talked about this too. It's like, I don't know what's happening on TikTok, but like all these girls on like there's these 10-year-olds that are just flooding Sephora. I can't get any of the beauty products that I want. I look British because my makeup is all like the bad stuff because all the fucking 10-year-olds are taking the good shit.
I look British.
Well, like, it's just like, I don't know.
That's hilarious. I
did
see. It's funny you say that. We went to a rock climbing place the other day with the kids. I did like a play date thing. Like, I picked up a friend for Keegan and a friend for Shay, put them in the car. So I was like the one, like the parent. Oh, that's never a spot I want to be in. But as we were walking in with like 1,000 other kids, there was like 4, preteen girls that were clearly on like a birthday or like a day out sort of thing. All had bags from Sephora, and I did notice it because I was like, "What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Like, what are you getting from there?" So I guess they're swiping up all the beauty products, and these old bitches like Jackie, and these 10-year-olds, like, what do they fucking need it for?
Like, you don't have skin problems.
And you know that everyone who's older than you says the same thing about you, you dumb bitch.
I know.
You're the 10-year-old to them, you moron.
I know.
But still, I'm lonely.
What's up, KFC? Feits. Been a listener since 2015, pretty much every podcast. I'm a second-year medical student now, and I've been listening to you guys be wrong about the human body for about 8 years, give or take. And so I'm appointing myself as KFC Radio's medical correspondent.
Love it.
Feits talking about the colostomy bag. You can't feel when it comes out. Your large intestine, where the colostomy bag is attached to, is just autonomic nerves. It means that your brain knows what's going on, but your body doesn't feel it. The only part of that whole process that you feel is your legitimate asshole, which are somatic nerves. So that's why you can tell, I gotta go to the bathroom, and you can hold it. But also when you're taking out the colostomy bag or using a colostomy bag, you're taking out a portion of your intestine that takes like the water and the moisture out of your shit. So not only is a colostomy bag something that you're not in control of,
that's really gross.
It's just like a gross sludge. So yeah, it'd be great for road trips, but imagine going on a date and taking your shirt off and not realizing that you have, a pound of shit sludge underneath your shirt when you go see your date. Just something to think about. Viva.
That is tough.
That changes the answers.
That changes the answers a lot.
Dude, every day going home, taking your shirt off, be like, I hope I didn't shit my shirt today. It's tough.
I shit my shirt. No, but I guess what he's saying is, like, when you shit yourself, it's because there's like the natty splatties. It's like an explosion. If this part of your big intestine is not, if it's just sludge, you can't ever it's not gonna go everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, unless the bag malfunctions or something, then you got a real fucking problem. But I like this idea of medical correspondent.
Yes,
I think
very much so.
This guy has carte blanche. Call as much as you want, and I'm sure it's often. Call in to correct anything we say incorrect.
Yeah.
Within reason. Like if it's like a topic, like if we just say something wrong offhand. But if it's like, if it decides a conversation or is the featured topic, you can call in and tell us the real deal, because I can't even imagine how wrong. I would love, this is where I wish maybe AI, we can use this going forward. I've always wanted to have more access to the library of KFC Radio, where it's like, we talked about that, go find it. If we could just have a supercut of all of the wrong medical stuff we've ever said, oh my God, it'd be fucking incredible.
I'd like a doctor to tell me what's wrong with me right now. I just started sweating and I can't stop yawning.
You've yawned 25 times in a row. You okay?
And
yeah, you look terrible right now.
You were fine, and now you look like you're eh.
I don't know what happened, but something flipped. I've been sick for a while.
Oh, great.
And yeah, it's
all right, how about we do one more voice and get the fuck out of here?
It is. I can't stop sweating. I'm can't stop moving.
Are you Are you tweaking right now, man?
It's not good right
Dude,
now.
I've had the hot flashes hit me. I used to like kind of laugh at like women in menopause, like a hot flash, like what, you get hot for a little bit. When this happened to me, where I mean, everybody knows I'm a sweater, but like I'll be on the show, and it just hits you like a wave, and it's like I must be 110 degrees right now, and I start sweating, and then like it'll just go away eventually, like not too long, but it's like, dude, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Maybe it's your underwear.
Hey guys, I have a story. It's kind of long, bear with me. So I have 2 sets of married friends, and they're kind of the core of our friend group. They host things, they organize things, yada, yada, yada. I know all of my friends because of them, and we live in a small town in Montana. And so apparently the past 3 years, these 4
Tell me they're swinging.
have been in a polyamorous relationship, and I had my suspicions. They definitely weren't subtle about it. They were definitely really flirty and handsy when they got drunk, and I was like, what's going on there? But it recently like came to a head, and so for 3 years, these 2 married couples were together. So basically you had your wife and your girlfriend, and then, they had their husband and their boyfriend, and so it was heterosexual swapping, I guess. And they would go on trips together, and they basically lived all together. It was this whole thing. They have an apartment and a house, and they live like 3 blocks away from each other. And so one of the married couples was on a weekend trip for like their anniversary. And the guy from the other couple, he was in the same city for like a concert, and he ended up at the same bar they were at. And the husband and wife, they were there at the bar, they were having a good time, and when he showed up, she basically ditched her husband and was all over the boyfriend, and he was like, all right, like, I understand that you're in a relationship with him, but he's like, it's our marriage anniversary, like, it's supposed to be about us, and it kind of blew up, and it ended up being like it's him or me situation, and she chose the boyfriend. And so now 2 marriages, donezo. They're both getting a divorce, and they're swapping partners. And I guess the other 2 are together by default, although they definitely rationalize it and they make it seem like it worked out for the best, which maybe it did, I don't know. But I got told this like on a Wednesday, and by Saturday I was helping them swap houses and swap lives essentially. And the 2 guys, they work together, and it is so incredibly uncomfortable. The whole friend group is basically like combust. Like it's
over.
Awful. They were all really close friends. They were best friends. That's why I guess they got together, and that's totally done now. And there's a little bit of a bad blood. And this happened in like late October, so there's been time to settle down. And it seems like it's going okay for the new couples, but it is so fucking weird. And I want to know all of your thoughts on it. And I'm sorry this is a long video, but please bear with me. Okay, Viva, bye.
This is like those pitchers in the Yankees that swap families in the 70s.
I don't know that.
It's like the least talked about sports story ever that should be the most talked about story ever. I don't even remember their names. They're not that good. 2 guys in the 70s on the Yankees swapped families. Kids, wives. They just, the whole fucking thing. On the same team.
Steinbrenner's best GM move ever.
It's one of the least, like, I don't know, maybe because they just weren't good enough pitchers, but they, like, to me, that's like Mike Kekich and Fritz Peterson. They swapped wives and took families in 1972 ahead of the 1973 season. Both players lived in New Jersey with their families and were good friends. We didn't just swap wives, we swapped lives. This, I think, works because it was 2 dudes, 2 teammates in the 70s who just said, we're doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a bunch of women and children who didn't like have rights then were like, okay. Nowadays, in this era, I think that'll happen like 100% of the time. It just takes such a specific sort of person to be able to do this, and that means you need to have 4 of those, or 6 of those, or 8 of those, or however many of those. Like, because if one person is off, the whole thing's going to eventually crumble. You're only as strong as your weakest polyamorous link. You know, you're only as poly as your weakest link, and like. At some point, someone's catching feelings.
Yeah.
Always.
And they're the wrong feelings. Like, I'm catching feelings with a person I fuck who I don't live with. Like,
Right.
no shit.
Yeah, like and on the other side of things, it's like I'm catching feelings that my wife is fucking someone else on my anniversary. Like, yeah, you're allowed to catch feelings.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Is like in these poly worlds, that guy's like the loser. That guy's the one who's impeding on like our lifestyle or whatever. Like, because I'm mad that on my fucking anniversary you're banging somebody. Like, yeah, I guess when you deal, you come up with one of those like contracts. I don't know. You got to honor the contract.
I like to think of the husband who just doesn't want to be with the other wife. It's like, you guys got to work it out.
So, well, that's the thing. She made it sound like they swapped.
Or I guess the wife who doesn't want to be with the other husband, it's just the one who was home. She's like, no, you guys are gonna get divorced. No,
right?
Fuck. That means I have to be with fucking
you.
Like, he was like, I was interested in fucking you. He was,
but
if
they've been swapping heterosexually. She said so. Like the wives have been fucking the other husbands.
But I was talking about like that. There's a difference between I'll fuck you and I want a relationship with you.
True.
Where you're like,
but you would think like in this case, that's interesting you say that because like most people, it's usually like, I want the boyfriend, like the girl. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want to be in my lame old marriage. I want the exciting boyfriend. But I think when you've been through like a shitty relationship where like, I just want to fuck you. I don't want to deal with all the other bullshit. I can see.
We're in a small Montana town. There's no one else. We've been doing this forever. I got to start dating that guy now? Fuck this, dude. He's got an apartment. I have a house.
Also, though, but like the friend group, goodbye.
Yeah.
These two groups ever trying to like be social again, goodbye. That is an atomic bomb. Oppenheimer, that shit. That is done. You cannot talk about like anything ever again. You get that group all together and someone's like, so do you think that was really AI with George Carlin? How about we all talk about how we fucked each other into oblivion? Because that's what happened here. And we're all just going to pretend it didn't? Get the fuck out of here. I'm always so interested in people who can pull it off. I personally know like one person who does it and like seems to live like the most awesome life. But it's so rare. It's just impossible to like, and like if it's going good right now. Yeah, this is theoretically, if you're doing it with your husband and wife and shit, you're doing it forever. And at some point, you're gonna catch feelings. Especially like you think, if you're like poly in like your 20s, it's very different than your 30s. That's very different than your 40s.
In their 20s.
Right.
It's like everyone's gay in college.
Bro, but like the amount of my horny levels are so shockingly much lower than they were even like 5 years ago, let alone like 10 years ago. Like it's just and like another 10 years, I don't know if I'll ever use this dick again. But I've got to keep up with like a poly couple? Nah, bro. That's why all of these things, every relationship, monogamous or otherwise, should have opt-outs every 2 years. And then you can decide. Be like, listen, this boyfriend.
I mean, if you got balls, you got to opt out every day.
True. You can always opt out of relationships. And if you can't, call the police. But opt out in the sense of like, the pineapple emoji I always talk about. You can just say, I opt out, and you're done. Yeah. You don't need to explain. There's no closure. There's no answers. I'm out. I'm done. There's no guilt. Like I think people who when you get dumped, it sucks. But when you make the other person feel guilty, that sucks too. Yeah. It's like whether you're posting stuff on the internet or killing yourself, whatever it may be. It's like it sucks for the dumper too. It really does. I know people, it's like I'm the one who's mean. You're the one who gets sympathy. I'm the one who's the asshole. So on top of like losing the relationship, I'm also an asshole. So don't make me feel guilty about it. That's the opt-out would just be like, you're not allowed to do anything to make this harder for me. That's the opt-out. All right, let's get into it. Ricky Velez on KFC Radio, one of our all-time great guests. Let's do it. All right, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and leave a comment below. Click that button.
Or I'll cut off my finger.